Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Everyone, welcome to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. I love our Stranger Things-esque countdown that we have here now. Thank you to Jack for creating that. And we are live here every weekday starting at 1 p.m. Pacific. We cover a wide range of topics on this show. We're live streaming on our website, on our app, and of course on Facebook and YouTube as well. So lots of places to find us, lots of places to join the conversation. If you are here every week, though, you know Thursdays at 1:30 p.m., pretty much every week, we're joined by the one and only Eric Goranson from around the house Northwest. Eric, always good to see you. And I have to say something though, because you always have this amazing backdrop right there with you, but there's something I never noticed before in the background, and that was that helmet up above your shoulder there. Yeah, with the autograph. And I want to know the story behind it. Before we get into today's topic, I want to know the story behind this helmet.
So this is Mike Ness, Social Distortion, and he wrote down the lyrics of some of the lyrics of Story of My Life.
How do you meet Mike Ness and then have a helmet and have him write down the actual lyrics? I mean, an autograph is one thing, but the full lyrics written down?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it. You know, it's pretty cool how he did that. So I don't want to give too many secrets in, but I collect rock and roll memorabilia. So I've met him before, a bunch of times over the years. Super nice guy. And so soft and underspoken when you talk to the guy, but talented musician. But yeah, I had a motorcycle helmet autographed, a vintage one.
That is that may be a whole other segment one time talking about your rock and roll memorabilia. Anyway, that's super cool. That's not what we're talking about today, but I had to call that out because I think Social D fans out there will really appreciate that. Okay, but let's talk about something a little bit more practical for everybody who's watching right now. I mean, the weather is really nice if you are watching live. It's, I believe, going to be in the 70s this weekend. First time we've gotten there, after the freeze, after all the stuff we've gone through. So it's going to be great. But that means everybody's starting to think about spring cleaning. And you have some good tips for everybody on how to do it in a healthy way.
You got it, brother. One of my first things is, when we get this 70-degree day, the first ones of the spring, what's the first thing we want to do? Open up those windows, air out the house. But there's one thing you should do before you do that. Pop out those window screens and clean them with a little dishwasher detergent and a rag, because those are like air filters. Even though they're meant to keep the bugs and stuff out, they collect all that dirt in there. So you don't want to drag that back into the house when you open the windows up. So take a minute, clear off those screens, just get some, Dawn detergent, whatever your dishwashing detergent is, in a soft brush or a rag, clean them off, spray them off, put them back in. So that way, when you open it up, you're not making the air even dirtier inside.
Okay, because that is one of the first things I was going to do when I got home today, is just open up everything. So that's a good point. I didn't think about the fact that that's just going to blow all that into my house. I've already got some allergies going on anyway, so probably don't need that. So I will clean those first. That's a great tip.
Yeah, that's the first one. Get that done. And even if you want to get one of those hose end sprayers that you put on the end of the hose that has the Windex or name any other cleaner on the end of it, just get them clean no matter what you do. That way you can do it if you can't get up to where you can take them down or it's too dangerous for you. Sometimes you can do that for the ground on a second-story house, for instance, and not have to do it. But just keep them clean. It's going to make the air cleaner inside just right off the bat.
All right. Good tip for everybody out there getting ready to do that.
The next one is deal with clutter inside your house. Why move it around? If it's stuff that's cluttered around and you're like, find your favorite nonprofit, donate to them, go through and get that stuff cleaned out, get the clutter gone first. That way you don't have to worry about putting it someplace except maybe in the back of your car to go donate. Get that gone, and that way it's just a little bit easier when you start doing that spring cleaning, whether it's in the garage, the shed, the living room. Get some of that clutter gone. It'll make it a lot easier.
I like it. Yeah, just get it out of there. Get rid of it. And there's lots of places to go donate too, so that's easy to look up and figure out where that stuff should go if it doesn't go to the dump. So, yeah, great idea.
Have a yard sale if you want to get some money out of it because you're hurting. You need a little bit of, money to put in the gas tank to get to work next week. Have a yard sale. Get it sold. Get it gone. Yeah. You'll be better off no matter what.
I love it. Yeah, yard sale is another great idea. All right, so those are two really good ones. What else should people do?
Go through your cleaning products. We always end up like under the sink in the laundry room or wherever you keep those things. There's always those half little bottles of this and that, and I'll buy some more, but you start using the new one. Go through and clean it down. You really only need a couple window cleaners, a couple all-purpose cleaners. You don't need a lot of that. And if it's really old, just get rid of it. Of course, properly dispose of it. If it's able to be thrown away, do that. If you got to take it down to Metro, to Hazmat, get rid of it the right way. And that way you're good, because you got to be careful with those cleaners out there and try to pick something a little bit healthier. For instance, I got a friend that does air testing, and all those cleanable wipes that we see that are, brand X out there. Yeah. When she does air quality testing in the house, she can tell you how many of those containers you have in there because of the VOCs they give off. So be careful with what your cleaners are. That could be something that's already going to be irritating your lungs, especially in the springtime with all the pollen and everything else.
I mean, I do have that, I will admit. I feel like half the time you're telling people to do these things or suggesting this, and I'm like, yeah, I do that in the wrong way. So I do have tons of cleaners that they should probably be getting rid of. So I will go through those. That's
just, high grade those things. Go through, and if you got to take two of the half full ones and mix them together, if they're the same brand and the same product, doesn't really matter. Just condense it down. You'll have a little more space in the end anyway.
Love it. All right, so going through these healthy tips and tricks and good ideas for spring cleaning. Anything else that you have?
Yeah, two more. One of them is change that air filter if you've got a central heating and cooling system or any kind of air conditioner or heat pump. Clean that filter out, put a new one in, get it ready to go for spring, and then keep an eye on it, because if you're like me and you like to open windows up and get some fresh air, that filter is going to grab the pollen, it's going to grab everything else, or any of the dust that you get around that gets stirred up while you're cleaning. So make sure you got a clean one in there, so that way you're catching it and it's not just moving around the house equally.
Good idea. Yep. So get that clean and or get a new one, whichever works. Yeah.
Right. I'm not a fan of the recleanable ones, to be honest. You're better off really to go ahead and just get a really good new one and put it in there and get as good a one as your system will take. And when in doubt, contact your local heating and cooling professional to see what the max filter you can put in there. Because there is a chance if you put too good of a filter in some of the older units, it actually could freeze up the AC in the wintertime because it's in the summertime, because it could actually reduce the airflow enough. So make sure you understand what filter needs to go in there and put as good as you can. You might not be able to fit the best one in there just due to lack of airflow.
Okay, good thing to pay attention to then. So make sure you're getting the right one for that. And then you said you had one more.
Yeah, another good one is just to go through and check your vacuum cleaner. Have you maintained it? Have you taken it apart, cleaned it, get all the hair and dog hair off of it or whatever you have around in there? And if it takes a bag, put a fresh bag in and make sure and get a good bag for it. You can jump on some of these online sites and get really cheap ones, but a lot of the good vacuum cleaners that take bags might have a HEPA system that's built into it, and maybe that off-brand doesn't have that. So I always recommend just getting the manufacturer's bag, so that way you're getting the exact one. Might cost a little bit more, but especially if you're doing a big, spring cleaning project, you want the best filtration, because that bag is not only collecting it, but many times that's actually filtering the air coming back out. So if you bought just an off-brand bag, might not be doing what it's designed to do.
All right. So another great idea there. So some good tips and tricks for everybody who's getting ready and thinking about this, especially probably going into the weekend with the nice weather and wanting to get ready for spring. So feel free to share this episode with everybody. But let's talk about, speaking of episodes, this week's episode of Around the House Northwest.
Man, we got a big show again this weekend. And I actually had a project that I've been working on with my brother. And we opened up the drywall because we were doing some work on this house. And I opened up a can of worms where this thing this exterior wall had probably 3 or 4 really bad, wrong repairs on it, where there was like 5 feet of wall that really had no structural integrity because they'd cut stuff off and patched it back together. So I took it down, rebuilt it, put a new window in, and that's our first start out the show with that. That's our Perform Like a Pro segment where we're actually rebuilding that wall. I'll show you why it was built wrong and what they did wrong, and then how to fix it. So we go through and rebuild.
I think I'm a little bit slow on it, but I think I do have part of that right here. I can see what you're talking about. Yeah, where it's just rebuilt there.
Yeah, so there's studs cut off. If you look over my shoulder there, you'll see where they cut that one off and put another one in. That's a load-bearing wall. That isn't supposed to be that way. So that thing's so butchered up. We talk about, I kind of give a little autopsy report of what happened to that thing to begin with, but I cut most of that out. It was rough. It was rough.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay, so that's That's a dangerous thing they did. So that's part of this week's episode, just the one part. And there, I know there's so many.
I even got out my sledgehammer, which is, by the way, my biggest pet peeve in home improvement television is demo day with a sledgehammer. But I actually used it the right way instead of me swinging around the bathroom trying to break things.
Nice. So proper use of a sledgehammer in this week's episode. What else can we talk about without giving everything?
Oh, yeah. I talked with Niels Rasmussen. He is a YouTuber who's got almost 1 million subscribers. Learn to DIY. He's a really solid guy out there that puts out all these great videos, dives into all these different subjects. And he's a homeowner that learned to DIY, and he turned around and said, hey, there's not some quality content out there of people doing it. So he created this last year his own channel, and he's been killing it out there. So we talked to him. That's a good one. And then we jump into an antique wood window. You know, if you got that 1940s or 50s house, it's got the wood windows or earlier. We go through and reglaze the window with that, you know, those single pane wood windows. We show you kind of how to seal those back up so you can knock those drafts down and you don't get water inside them.
Nice. And still get to keep that kind of older look to it too, but also.
Yeah. Love that old charm, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. And that's all on this week's episode. Plus, there's always a lot more. And I don't know if we want to give any more away or if that's.
I'll give one more away. We talk about what makes a bad electrical panel in your house. What should you look for? And how do you take care of it? So we take a look and say, okay, here's what a bad electrical panel looks like that probably needs to be swapped out. So we just give a little education on that. So that way you can call the right person and have them come out and repair it or replace it.
Nice. All right. And there's always more, too.
There's more, I think, coming up in the show.
For like 10 episodes right there. But this is all in one episode, plus more. And where and how can everybody watch?
All right, man. So if you missed last week's show, don't worry. You can catch it tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus. And, of course, the brand new show we're talking about, that's 10 a.m. on Saturday. And then it will turn around and rebroadcast again at Sunday night at 6 p.m. And, of course, back at 8 a.m., all on Fox 12 Plus. And if you miss it, you can always catch it on YouTube.
Yep. We got it on YouTube. We got it at kptv.com. We got it in a lot of places that people can go take a look at it, and on the app as well. I know there's some segments on there, too. So everybody can find all those segments, share this, let everybody know about it. And, you know, Eric, it's always good to have you on here. I mean, I can't believe in all the times that we've been doing this, I haven't noticed that helmet before. So now I'm gonna go back and look at this and just like pick out things in the background, try to find something for a show and tell each week. But
there we go.
But yeah,
there's more.
So that's awesome. Well, Eric, thank you as always.
Thanks, my friend.
And for everybody watching too, this is Fox 12 Now. So we're going to head over to the website and the apps next. I always recommend you download the Fox 12 Oregon app. We got a little bit more there that's not going to be on Facebook or YouTube. It's just taking a look at some videos that we get sent in here that don't necessarily sometimes fit in other news segments, but we watch them together. So we're going to do that over there. So I'll talk to everybody on the app or the website. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Niblett. This is Fox 12 Now.